YouTube, what's going on? It's your guy CJ, back with another video, back with another episode of the CJ Wilkins YouTube channel, and also the Be a Man podcast affiliate. We are in season 10, which is crazy. Today's episode, man, is going to be a first for me here on this platform. I've been doing this channel for a little bit over a year now, but I'm gonna beg y'all today, okay? And you did hear me correctly. I'm going to make a request here, and I'm gonna ask you all to do something for me. And this thing is very important. I want you to bring it in, because I can't tell everybody, but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna beg you to do this. And what I want you to do, I don't care if you're a male, female, young, old, middle-aged, you got a good job, you got a job that, regular job, it don't matter, right? I don't care if you're at the bus stop, you got a car, you own multiple cars. The thing I'm going to beg of you today is to quit betraying yourself. I'll say it again to you. I want you to quit betraying yourself. Stop betraying yourself. And when I say stop betraying yourself, what I'm saying is, because I want to be crystal clear on this episode. I don't want you to watch this whole video and still be confused on what I'm talking about. Stop betraying yourself. Quit making promises to yourself and not fulfilling those promises. Quit making these goals and these guarantees and these plans for what you want to do and where you want to go and, like how you want to get there. And you end up bailing out on yourself. Stop doing that. Cut that out. It's early May 2025 right now. And before we head into the summer, okay, before we get into the June and July and August of this year, I want you to eliminate the practice and the habit of betraying yourself, right? And this is a personal video for me, man, because I spent a good majority of my young life growing up betraying myself. Excuse me. But yeah, man, like I grew up, betraying myself a lot, but I want to get into some of the reasons as to why people betray themselves, but then two, try to create some tangible solutions as to how you can stop, because if you're watching this video, something in the title about betraying yourself probably resonated with you, and that's why you're here, and I'm very appreciative. I'm grateful. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video to somebody that you think may be able to benefit from like what I'm getting ready to say. There's a lot of reasons, man, why people betray themselves. A lot of times it comes down to, what I suffered from a lot growing up, wanting to feel accepted by the people that I grew up with, your mother, your father, your siblings, your community, family and stuff like that. You want to feel accepted by your family. So you do a lot of people pleasing. You do a lot of, sacrificing or like minimizing your character and your personality, right? So, and it starts early. The programming, anything that takes you away from like the person that you're supposed to be, I'm going to always call it programming. And that's what it is. And it starts early for us in the West. In other places too. It's not just in the West, but when you go through public school, man, like they tell you to sit down and be quiet for 8 hours and, don't question authority and don't, don't try to rock the boat or like, push the envelope or don't try to ask real questions, They'll try to tell you stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it's just so important, man, to just understand the programming and the indoctrination, and that's what they're doing, man. They're teaching you to be small. They're teaching you to blend in. They're teaching you to be, you know what I'm saying? They're teaching you to be compliant with how they want you to be. You know what I'm saying? Not who you were designed to be, not who you're supposed to be. And there's always going to be people that push back on that point. Like they'll say, man, you need the structure and everything. And there's a component of public education, I will say. A very small percentage is based on the structure. Most of it is about really just forming the next generation of cubicle and warehouse workers. We need compliant Americans who don't dream, who don't think originally, who don't try to be their own individual person, right? And so that's one, right? Another one is a lot of times when you have a low idea of your self-image, you don't have a good idea of who you are, or when you look in the mirror, you're not the most happiest at your reflection. And that could come from, like, you know, grooming, abuse at home, some kids get bullied in school and they may have issues there, but it's a self-esteem problem anytime you lie to yourself. Because when it comes to, like, betraying yourself, it's a level of you lying to who you are, right? And you lying to yourself. And we've all, like, heard the phrase, you can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself. You can lie to other people, but when you lie to yourself, it's like, because you can't trick yourself. You may be able to trick and manipulate other people, but when you're lying and you're manipulating yourself, that's a different ball game, But you gotta find a way to get to the root of why do you betray yourself, And I see it in adulthood all the time. And if you're watching this video, I'm sure you can attest as well. You see it all the time. Betraying yourself is like when you want to speak up, when you want to say something, there's a feeling or a desire of, like, truth to exit your mouth, and you just bite your tongue, You shrink yourself. You make yourself small when you were designed to be grand, and you were designed to be grandiose and larger than life in many instances, But to keep the peace, to make sure everybody else feel comfortable, you make yourself invisible almost, And that's not even the bad part. That's a horrible thing to do, to make yourself smaller, when God created you to be this incredible individual. But that's not the worst part of it. The worst part of it is when you do shrink yourself, when you do minimize yourself, when you want to speak up, when you want to say something from the heart, when you want to, be your full, unadulterated self. You develop a level of resentment towards yourself as a result. You don't just shrink yourself like for the sake of it. When you do this over a period of time, you grow resentful, and the resentment can be towards you. But a lot of times what people do, man, and it's really sad, the resentment ain't really towards themselves. A lot of people, if they operate like in a cowardly sense, and I say coward because I don't know the medical term or the official term, but a lot of times people will redirect their resentment towards other people, right? So it'll be like, that diagram from back in the 60s that came out that broke down, like, behaviors of, like, the husband. The husband goes and spend 8 to 10 hours a day at a job he hates. He's getting fussed at and cussed out by his boss, and he's being, like, emasculated by, like, his employer. And then, that husband, he goes home and, he yells at his wife. He's verbally abusive to his wife, physically abusive in some instances to his wife. And the wife, she takes it just like the husband takes it at work, because the husband understands I got to get this check. I got to bring this bacon home to take care of and provide for my family. So he takes it at work. He takes the abuse and punishment, but he goes home and he espouses that same abuse, like towards his wife, towards his woman, right? And then the woman, she receives the abuse from the husband, and she internalizes that as, okay, this is just part of my duty as a loving and supportive wife. So I'm clearly messing up right now, so I'm gonna just take it on the chin. And then if they have any children, the wife, the mother, she'll go and internalize that abuse towards the kids. So now the kids are getting yelled at and screamed at and talked down to, because the mother needs some sense of power, but her husband strips her of every ounce of dignity, respect, and worth that she has. So she goes to the people who she believes and are beneath her, and that's the kids, right? I can't talk back to my husband, because back in the day, guys were even allowed to hit their wives and stuff. Guys were allowed to be abusive and stuff. So that was a crazy time. So women really didn't have an ally like that, where they can just stand up for themselves towards a man in their life who was probably abusive or whatever. And not all husbands were, but just the example. And then the kid to get yelled at, the kid to get fussed at, and then the kid to be like, dang, well, I can't talk back to my mama because that's my mother and I love her and she's my parent and she's right, probably. Even if she's wrong, your mama can be wrong than a mug. Your mother can be the definition of not right, but because it's your mother, you can't really say nothing about it. So they take it, and then they go yell at the dog. The dog just being the dog too, by the way. The dog over there, wagging his tail, or he may be a playful dog that's jumping up and down trying to get some attention, or may want you to go throw a ball with him or a stick with him outside. You yelling at the dog, forget you, Lassie. Scooby-Doo, go do something else. You mean to the little dog all because your mama is mad at you. Or your mother just yelled at you. She may not be mad, but she's frustrated, right? Because she feels a sense of power over you, just like the husband feels a sense of power over her, just like the employer feels a sense of power over him. So it's it's a hierarchy of something, So that was a long example. I gave, but I want y'all to really get, the main point. But you got to stop lying to yourself, man. You got to quit betraying yourself, man. It be opportunities you want to go for, opportunities that you would actually do really well in, opportunities that you would actually thrive in, but you cut yourself short due to the negative inner speech. I always tell people the greatest enemy really isn't external. The greatest enemy you will ever encounter. If you think about your worst op, if you think about the worst opponent you could ever face, it's not someone who's bigger, faster, stronger, smarter, wealthier. The worst opponent that you will ever come across is your mind. If you're not in control of your mind, a negative mind, a self-destructive mind, a mind that speaks ill of itself, that's the worst enemy in this world, man. That is the absolute worst. That's an enemy right there that is just unchecked, is the cause of a lot of suicide in this country. And I don't know if I can say suicide on YouTube. I'm just going to say it. I don't care. I'm not going to mince words when I'm talking about righteousness and truth. And this episode is both. So, people they kill themselves, man, off of not having a grip or a solid holding of their mind in a positive way. You let so much negativity get in your head and you're not able to check it, it'll drive you crazy, But it's that inner speech. It's that self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself in a way that's beneficial, in a way that's helpful, in a way that's healthy? A lot of people don't. A lot of times in my life, I haven't. I've done a much better job of that, I would say, over the past 5 years, to where, I speak to myself in a healthy way. And the crazy thing about that too, right, is a lot of times you'll talk to everybody else nice. You'll be nice and polite at work. You'll, as you should, you'll be respectful and sweet to your kids or to your spouse. But when it comes to you, you'll be like, you'll talk really good to your friends and stuff. You'll speak well about people you love and care about. But for some reason, when it comes to yourself, when it comes to you, when it comes to the man or woman in the mirror, you don't really speak that well about you, And that's crazy within itself, because if you speak well about people you love and don't speak well about you, what that tell you? You don't love yourself. That tells you that you don't love yourself. You don't really care about who you are, And it's okay to experience that, but, if you know it and you're aware of it, I think it's indicative to try your best to try to work on that, Try to improve that. Try to get to a point in life to where you can speak well about yourself and view yourself at a higher state, because what happens when you don't view yourself at a high level, you start to settle. You start to bet against yourself versus betting on yourself. And the whole point of this video, man, I want y'all to get to the point to where you can bet on yourself. It's okay to be a good friend or a good employee at your job, or to be a decent steward of your community, and to support your friends when they come to you, or support your family when they come to you, when they have a goal or a dream, But some of y'all supporting other people's dreams and goals more than your own, Some of y'all, call yourself content creators, and you spend 8 hours a day watching everybody else's videos. And I'm appreciative. If you're watching my content, bro, and you still here 17 minutes and 38 seconds in, I appreciate you. I thank you. I value you to the moon and back. But if you're also a YouTuber and you're watching all these different content creators, you're supporting them, you're helping them, but you haven't posted a video in 3 weeks. You ain't made a video in 6 months. You got a channel and you got 10 subscribers, or you got 70 subscribers by the grace of God, and you could have quadruple that if you were just simply consistent enough to put out content to where, like, every 90 days you at least got 6 or 7 videos out, Some of y'all are operating in other spaces of entrepreneurship or businesses, and you got your own brand, you got your own this or that, and salute to you. I'm all for people working for self and building up their own thing, but learn how to support yourself how you support other people too, because some of y'all are all in on people's dream. You'll write their business plan, you'll come up with their funding strategies. You got an idea and a goal and a dream too, and you're afraid to bet on yourself. You haven't done anything for yourself, So treat other people as good as you treat yourself. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like, betraying yourself is one thing. The resentment that comes from betraying yourself is a whole nother thing. And the thing that's very important too, that I haven't touched on yet, is that you'll see such a change in life and in your existence the moment you start to bet on yourself. When you start to keep promises to yourself, like if you say like today, Friday, for an example, right? But if you say something like, this weekend I'm gonna wake up early and I'm gonna go like walking in the morning. I'm gonna try to get these pounds up off me, so I'm gonna try to get to moving. If you really wake up early Saturday morning, early Sunday morning, before the birds start chirping and stuff, and you put your shoes on, keep your running shoes like by the door or by the bed so you see them like when you wake up, and you go out and you walk around the neighborhood, man. and you start your day off like that. You say like, okay, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and you actually do it this weekend. Like, all right, Friday night I'm gonna do some self care. I'm gonna put the work down. I'm gonna put the whatever down, and I'm gonna find me a way to pour into myself. Saturday morning, I'm going to wake up and do something physical for my health. Sunday morning, I'm gonna wake up early and do something for my soul, something for my spirit. Work on a dream, work on some journaling, work on a gratitude like list, or have a conversation with God to deepen my spirit and to deepen my soul connection to my Creator and my Most High. And you do all those three things in one weekend, you'll be like, man, I made a promise to myself and I stuck with it and I did it. And what that does, man, is that puts you on a trajectory of wanting to continue to do it. A lot of times, man, things are like based on cycles, right? And things become a pattern and a habit once you've done it so many times and days consecutive. So you got to deprogram yourself because you have been lying to yourself and betraying yourself for years. A lot of people, this isn't a thing you just started. And it could be from how you was raised, how you was programmed in school, how your family neglected you or abused you or like made you feel like insignificant or small. And as a result, now you're an adult and you kind of treat yourself worse or as bad as the abuse that you received growing up from other people. But now you're doing the abuse to yourself by minimizing yourself, by shrinking yourself, by God put a vision and a dream in your head. And before you even sit down and really think about how you can really enact that dream and that plan into a vision and make it happen, you didn't already came up with 100 ways on why you can't do it or why it won't work. Oh, the economy. Oh, people ain't spending money like that. Oh, it's oversaturated. Oh, everybody and their mama already doing it. Oh, good luck never happens to me. All that negativity shit, you got to get that out of your head. You have to delete that from your framework and you have to replace it with, you know what, I can do it. If there's someone else who's ever done this, that person isn't better than me, they're not smarter than me, I can do it too. I will do it. I must do it. Create reasons for why you have to do it. Some of y'all got kids you want to provide a great life for. Some of y'all are waking up and living a mediocre life that is beneath what you want and what you dream of. So you just go through the cycles just to keep up the status quo. But if you just did something different and bet on yourself, in 6 months your life will be completely different. Completely different. You wouldn't even recognize it. You'll wake up one day and you'll be like, man, like, if you really think about it, you'll be like, man, I done come a long way, you know. So, yeah, man, just, get into the habit of betting on yourself. Because what happens when you start making promises to yourself and you keep those promises and you continue to do it and you're consistent with it, what happens is you build a habit to where showing up for yourself becomes a normality. It becomes something that you get used to. And now you 6 months in, a year in, 2 years in, 3 weeks in, 5 days in, you like, okay, I'm telling myself things and I'm doing it. And when you show up for yourself, man, it frees you from a lot of the resentment and the pain and the self-disgust you feel. And you will feel self-disgust if you bet against yourself constantly. But we're not doing that for the rest of 2025. We got roughly 7 months remaining in this year. Okay? The year already halfway done. So if you started out this year and you weren't a big fan of showing up for yourself, take this video to heart and come back and watch this video anytime you feel like you feeling lie to yourself or put yourself in a position of where I told myself I was going to do this, but I'm doing that. Or I'm not doing that at all. I'm not doing anything. Make it a habit and start small. Don't listen to years or months. Listen to day one. Make today day one and create a list of 2 things you want to get done today. And they can be small. They can be like, I'm going to do laundry today. I'm going to put my clothes away. I'm going to clean up my bathroom today. I'm going to organize my space at home. I'm going to vacuum my car. I'm going to go, before I go home, I'm going to go through the car wash. Something small. And really do it. Really do it. I'm going to read 10 pages of a book before next Friday. And do it. Break that shit down. Do 2 pages a night. Or like a page in the morning, a page at night, page in the morning, page at night, page in the morning, page at night. Before you know it, you'll be at 10 pages. And then you can go to 20, 30, 40. You increase it over time, but just in the beginning, just get in the habits of doing small things for yourself. And it's going to bless you in ways you couldn't even imagine, like you wouldn't even think about. You'll be like, damn, I'm really getting this stuff done. And then from there, you're going to be on the path of who you're supposed to be. And that's all I want with my channel, man. That's all I want to put out. You were designed and built for so many great and incredible things. But it all has to start from, yes, God, your creator, but you have to be a believer of that as well. You got to believe in yourself. God loves you. He will believe in you. He will show you things in this world that he's created for you. But hey, man, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself first, man. Before there's an audience to clap and cheer for you, before you have a fan base, before you have a big following, before you have a large number of people who dedicate their time, energy, and resources to you, you gotta believe in yourself first. Even if even when you look out into the ethers and the space, you may not see any supporters right now. You may not see any crowd. There may be nobody clapping for you. And if no one's clapping for you, that's cool. You got to clap for yourself, right? And clap for yourself until you have other people to clap for you. And that's going to come over time. But, yeah, quit selling yourself short. Quit betting against yourself. Quit betraying yourself. Love yourself. Show up for yourself. Keep promises to yourself. As always, it's your guy CJ. And I'm out. Peace.